Morning, YouTube. This morning, it's a review. This will be review episode number 2, and this is actually going to be a triple review. So bear with me, and I'll do my housekeeping nearer the end because it does tie in with the review. Recently, a lot of guys have been doing Sutliff and McBaron tobacco reviews. And Sutliff, I guess, has picked people and messaged them and has sent them free samples to try out. I got my Sutliff from a local B&M. He was holding a little bit of a contest, and he had some Sutliff tobaccos on hand. And I happened to be there at the right time. Excuse me. And I entered and I won, and I walked out with 5 tins of Sutliff tobacco. We'll say 4 tins because the 5th tin was actually a duplicate of one of the mixtures, and I decided that of the 3 that I've smoked so far, it would be worth me doing reviews on. So I'm going to cram them into one big triple review, so you guys that way I don't end up with a 20-minute long video about one tobacco. So first and foremost, I'm not an aromatic smoker. I don't really like aromatics at all. I avoid them. I stick with English and the kind of like aged Virginias, or in the case of like University Flake, the Virginia Burley mix. I have a couple vapors too, like Lancer slices and some other stuff. But my tendency is towards those type of tobaccos. So when the 3 tobaccos that I'm going to do are Black Swan, the Great Outdoors, and Fieldmaster. And since we get to the housekeeping part, this is the Missouri Meerschaum, what the hell is this thing called? Country Gentleman. And in it is Fieldmaster, which I'll review last since I am smoking. So as I said, I don't like aromatics, and 2 of these tobaccos are in fact aromatics. One of them is not listed among the aromatics, from what I remember, but it's definitely an aromatic. Black Swan, which will be our first one, is coarse cut tobacco, and it is strictly black cavendish. When I cracked open the tin, it was a little moist, a little more moist than I like anything to be, and I assumed it was going to be kind of that soupy, nasty taste that I get from aromatics that have a lot of casing and a lot of crap on them. This, in fact, didn't feel like it had all that much on it. It was a little too wet for me, but drying it out for about, I think it was about 45 minutes most times. As I left the tin open, it was getting down to maybe 5 minutes. Drying it out helped, and it actually got to a moisture that was tolerable. When I pulled my filters out of my cobs, they were not nasty like I expected them to be, so I was pretty surprised. On the light, now the tin notes were kind of like a bit vanilla, but it felt like it was in the background, almost like cinnamon, and it reminded me of, in a way, Dr. Pepper. Like the smell of Dr. Pepper, where you can smell like cola syrup, and why? And just overall, it was a really pleasant smell. And I expected the cola smell, the Dr. Pepper syrup smell, to translate over to blech, and surprisingly, it didn't. On the light, it was fruity. Just kind of a fruity essence, and I'm guessing that's, again, like the amazing however many flavors go into Dr. Pepper. It was like an amalgam of flavors that were all fruity in taste. I couldn't distinguish any one in particular, and it did burn a little bit warm, a little bit hotter than I prefer my tobaccos to burn, and being that I keep them a bit on the drier side, I expect most tobaccos to be a little warm, but this one was a little hotter than most, and it was making it a bit uncomfortable to hold the bowl after a while. The tin note, though, overall, very nice. Almost like, you're walking into a candy store, and I'm getting hit with that Dr. Pepper kind of reminiscence for me. Room note, on the other hand, very pleasant for other non-smokers and people who don't really want to smell something like a lat-heavy blend. Like, I'm sure sitting in a room with someone smoking Black Swan would be preferable to sitting in a room with someone smoking like Larry's blend. It was a little moist as I was smoking it, even after drying it, and it did dry out pretty well, which was surprising. But it was mostly near the bottom, and I'm assuming whatever they cased the tobacco with, eventually works its way down to the bottom, and that's that. It was a little bit spicy, kind of like cinnamon, as I was smoking, which is really nice. It reminded me of, again, Dr. Pepper, pretty much the whole way down. Overall, for an aromatic tobacco, not terrible. Still not a fan of aromatics, but would I smoke it again? Maybe. I probably wouldn't buy, I can almost positively say I wouldn't buy a tin, because, again, not being an aromatic smoker, I don't keep that on hand. But if somebody offered me some and that's all I had to go with, then yeah, I would definitely smoke it. It's not bad. On a scale of 1 to 10, give it about a 5. Next up was Great Outdoors. Great Outdoors is burley black cavendish mix. Another coarse cut tobacco. This one was perfect moisture when I got it out of the tin. Opening up, and it was very easy to keep lit, which was great. Almost every single bowl of the Great Outdoors that I smoked, I could keep. Now, regardless of not being an aromatic smoker, I did smoke both of those tins to completion. They're all gone, just so I can say whether or not I truly did or didn't like them. Great Outdoors was really easy to keep lit. Light it once, get my charring light, get my real light going, and I could usually keep the bowl going the whole way down without having to light up ever again. The cut on that tin was really, really nice, and there wasn't a lot of big chunks, which was great. This one had a great tin note. You smell more of the vanilla in there, and almost kind of like rum in the background, and that actually translated over into the flavor as well. The room note was great, and I liked it better than Black Swan. And what I was doing with this was, the little test, and also taking it and smoking in the room, and then leaving and coming back to see exactly, going with the coffee bean trick, where you sniff a little bit of coffee, go back and test out the room note. And this one was great. I really enjoyed that. It didn't bite, which is wonderful. The vanilla taste was great too. Normally, some vanilla tobaccos, like I've had some the really low end stuff that tasted like crap, some that were a little bit better. This one was definitely up there. I would say it was close to being the best one that I've tasted. Overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, this one, put it in about the same category. 5, 5.5. Definitely, for someone looking to try aromatic, not a bad smoke to start with. For someone who's already into aromatics, definitely, I would say add this one into the rotation. Very, very good. That brings us to Fieldmaster. Fieldmaster is Burley, Virginia, Latakia, and Perique. Now this one I can be a little more specific with, because this is me working my way through the final tin of this, and I said he gave me duplicates of this. After cracking the tin, I was expecting it to be kind of a lat bomb. It does smell kind of Latakia heavy, woodsy. I guess that's the best term for it. A lot of smoke to it, but there was a certain kind of creaminess to the smell, and that really translated well over into the flavor. Now, on as for the tin note, I would say you get a really heavy dose of that Latakia, and I think it smells pleasant. It's got that great campfire smell, but the Perique adds an extra little spice to it. So you kind of want it's almost like Cajun barbecue. It's really cool when you crack it open. The Latakia had a really good kick on the initial light, and this one I'd had to dry out for about 10 minutes each time, and this one I was keeping in a jar because I cracked both tins at once. Filled it all the way up. So I had to let these sit for about 10 minutes each time to make sure that they were of an appropriate smoking moisture. Overall, very easy to keep lit here as well. Balanced flavors too, at least for the first third of the bowl. Once that first third of the bowl is gone though, Perique kind of poked its head through and took over. It became a little bit more spicy, but like good old fashioned Cajun. It was really, really nice. And I would say fragrant. Not that's the smoky that I'm trying to describe. Almost like you put a nice piece of, I can't think of the name of the wood, but like, you know, if you were to throw some pine on there or something like that, something that is a wonderful smelling wood, threw it on a campfire, that's the kind of fragrance I was getting out of this blend. Very smooth, and at the same time, it's pretty much perfect for colder weather. Latakia lends itself very well to the cold, and this is no exception. Absolutely no bite. And the nice thing about it is flavor kind of changes back and forth depending on what you're drinking along with it. And I found that if you're drinking something like a bourbon or a rum or something, now I find bourbon and rum to be sweet as opposed to like a scotch. The bourbon and the rum kind of give it an extra little push into the spicy territory when I'm having something like scotch, or even something completely different, like right now I'm having Coke. The flavors kind of meld really nicely and make almost like that whole flame grilled kind of meat that is wonderfully pungent, and it just as I'm cycling through each puff, you're getting different flavors each time. And this would be something that I think would be really good for, like I said, colder weather, but also around the holidays. I think this would go really well with Thanksgiving dinner. On the scale of 1 to 10, this one for me, definitely like a 7, 7.5. Yeah, we'll say about a 7.5, bordering on 8 occasionally. Sometimes you get that absolutely perfect bowl where everything just goes right. Definitely. So we'll say between 7.5 and 8 for this blend. Is it my favorite English? No, it's not my favorite English. Is it a good English? Absolutely. Definitely worth a try. So if you haven't had any Sutliff tobaccos, certainly give them a shot. I would say if you're an English guy, start with the Fieldmaster and then work your way through the rest of the blends. I still have a few more blends that I'm looking into getting. And as soon as I get some funds, I'll probably go out and pick out, 1 or 2 more tins to try amidst the other tins that I want to get stocked up on. So far, I'm pretty impressed with what Sutliff has to offer. They actually got me to smoke an aromatic, and that was surprising. So if you haven't tried it, definitely give it a shot, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. Hope you guys enjoyed the reviews. If you have any questions about it, anything about the tobaccos you want to know, or get my opinion on, leave me a comment. I'd be happy to answer you, and I'm going to enjoy a little more Fieldmaster. It is, yet again, another cloudless day in New Jersey. It's like 3 in a row. Literally have not seen a cloud in days. Blue skies, comfortable weather, and it was a little chilly this morning, so Fieldmaster was the perfect choice. So you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you enjoyed the review, and we'll catch you next time.